Bayfield has a variety of accommodations for visitors.
But probably none more famous than the Rittenhouse Inn. The Queen Anne Victoria B&B sits prominently on the main street leading into Bayfield. The 1890 home was purchased 36 years ago by Jerry and Mary Phillips, and at the time, they were Madison music teachers. They renovated the building, and some say they actually reinvigorated the tourism industry in this town. They give them credit for doing that. We talked with Jerry about his pioneering journey.
It's one of those magical things that I might have smashed your crystal ball had you told me, 36 years ago this is what happened. Because we came up here on our honeymoon. We were in Madison, of course. I was still at the university. Mary had just graduated and had her first teaching job on the east side. And we came up here on our honeymoon totally by chance. I mean, we didn't even hear of Bayfield, really. And we just were enchanted.
How has Bayfield changed in that time?
When we came here, there were just a couple of sailboats, and the season was exceedingly short. I mean, July and August was it. And the Apple Fest was really relatively new, and it just started to slowly grow both ways, into the spring further and into the fall. And so tourism, I think, is the real change in that sense.
And don't be modest, you guys had a big part of that.
Well, I'd like to think we did. I mean, I think it was huge in a couple of ways. One, in that it just gave a lot of people who hadn't any idea of what to do with an old building, for example, or weren't thinking of being entrepreneurial, that, oh my gosh, and then that aha travels to other things. You couldn't even go out on the lake for a couple of hours with someone. You had to have your captain's license, or you had to hire the whole boat for the weekend or whatever it was. And we had this friend who had a marvelous boat, and we cooked up this idea to take people out for a couple of hours and experience that incredible sailboating. And we started doing night sails and dessert sails and things of that sort. I think we've had a really neat role. And I think the other role was that it grounded the historic sense of Bayfield, because so many little towns get chopped up quickly, and they just it's so easy to tear down buildings and do urban remodeling. And this sort of set the stage to keep things. And I look back and think, if there's anything, that had to be a great part of what is still the charm.
The Rittenhouse Inn was originally a summer cottage for a Chicago family looking to escape the city's heat and pollution when it was built 120 years ago.
The Phillips renovation includes a first-class gourmet restaurant that's filled every evening and lodging in 12 rooms, each with Jerry's special touches. He showed us his newest room, a suite with a Moroccan theme.
What am I going to do, Sloping ceilings, and things. And then this idea of the influence of Northern Africa on the Victorian period was huge. All those tassels and the sofas and divans, And so I thought, why don't we do that? And I love the stone, and I love the cork floor, and the Moroccan pieces of furniture and touches. It's just a great space, and our guests love it. It's become a real favorite.
And as we mentioned at the top of the show, the Rittenhouse is constantly rated as one of the top B&Bs in the entire country.
It's a beautiful place. He still has a fondness for Madison. He'd like to see more Madisonians come up here and check it out.
Absolutely.